Lizzie Musi faced a tough opponent who seemed to have gained a sudden burst of speed, leaving her confused and scrambling to adjust her car for better performance. She's been a remarkable presence in the racing world, often competing with the street outlaws and showcasing daring maneuvers that captivate the audience. Born into a rich family with racing heritage, Lizzie took to the tracks immediately after high school, rapidly gaining notoriety and admiration, particularly among women aspiring to race. Her passion for racing was inherited from her parents, especially her father Pat, who transitioned from a timber transport business to a full-time racing career, later founding Musi Racing Engines. What if the recent turn of events is more than just a challenge on the track for Lizzie? Let's explore the hidden depths of Lizzie Musi's recent heartbreaking tragedy from Street Outlaw. In an episode of Street Outlaws, the racer competing against Lizzie Musi was slower to understand strategies, which made him try to distract her. This became clear when he suddenly sped up and won the third round unexpectedly. This quick win confused everyone, making them wonder how it happened so fast. To deal with this and keep calm, Lizzie's team had to change their racing car. These changes were important for them to keep racing well and stay in the competition for a longer time. Lizzie has been doing exceptionally well on the racing circuits, competing with the Street Outlaws team, breaking records and executing some spectacular maneuvers that keep spectators eagerly anticipating the next event. However, there's some news. Things might start to get challenging for her. Lizzie finds herself at a significant turning point in her life right now, and it's quite a momentous occasion. Looking back, it's evident that Lizzie didn't accidentally end up in the world of drag racing. Indeed, racing runs through her veins. She comes from a lineage of adventurers who have been involved in this field for generations, so it seemed destined that she would embrace this path. Immediately following her graduation from high school, she plunged into racing and swiftly became a noteworthy competitor on the racing circuits, garnering admiration from many, particularly women considering this sport as a career. Lizzie's father, Pat, and her mother, Elizabeth, originally from Stockholm, who was also a car racer, are both deeply embedded in the racing culture. Pat was deeply engaged in the racing world back in the 1970s. Although he didn't start with the same experiences as Lizzie, his enthusiasm for racing persisted. Initially, he assisted his father with the family business, which involved transporting timber. But secretly, he was nurturing a growing excitement for racing, a fervor that eventually turned into his main occupation. He has spoken in various interviews about how he got hooked on drag racing as a teenager, fueled by a deep passion that blossomed into something remarkable, making him a significant figure for all thrill seekers. It's no surprise that Lizzie inherited this intense passion. While other children were busy playing with dolls or toy cars, Lizzie was captivated by the real thing, those mighty, meticulously engineered racing vehicles. Pat's father, initially not a fan of racing, eventually became a staunch supporter of Pat's racing ambitions. Pat greatly appreciates how his father supported him and encouraged him to advance in his racing career. And you know what? Pat's been doing exactly the same for Lizzie, providing her with training, equipment, and moral support. This support was crucial when Lizzie survived a severe accident. Thanks to the excellent condition of the car she was in, she escaped unscathed. Pat's days as a race car driver are widely celebrated, known for his intense competitions against well-known racers such as Jenkins and Nicholson. Nowadays, Pat has shifted his focus from racing to managing his own company, Musi Racing Engines. He established this business back in 1969, and over the years, it's expanded significantly and achieved remarkable success. To put it simply, let's explore this story from another angle. Lizzie was raised surrounded by her family's enterprise, a place renowned for producing some exceptionally innovative machinery. These devices were so outstanding that they propelled the company to the forefront of the industry. Lizzie's father, Pat, was once deeply invested in the racing world and even considered dedicating his life solely to racing cars. However, as time passed, he chose to continue nurturing the family business. By 2020, they were commemorating a half-century of sustained success and growth. Lizzie didn't just suddenly appear in the racing world. Her journey began when she was just 16 years old in 1999. She initially participated in junior drag races and continued competing until 2007. Those who witnessed her races during those early days might not have predicted her future prominence. Nonetheless, as she matured, she began shattering records and establishing a significant reputation in the racing community. Lizzie's entire family is deeply involved in the world of racing. This includes her sister, Patricia, who also races cars, though she often finds herself in the shadows of her more prominent sister and father. Lizzie wasn't merely spending time aimlessly. She was eagerly absorbing everything she could from some of the top racers in the field. She was far from merely dabbling in the sport. Instead, she actively worked in her family's engine shop, where she immersed herself in the gritty details of engine mechanics, learning everything from the basics upwards. Instead of pursuing higher education, Lizzie chose to follow her heart, which beat loudest for racing and engines. She was completely dedicated to the sport she loved. Her father, who was a champion racer himself, took it upon himself to teach her thoroughly. He ensured she understood not only how to drive fast, but also to comprehend the intricate workings of a car. His training went beyond mere speed. It was about mastering the vehicle, knowing every little detail inside and out. In one interview, her dad, Pat, explained that having businesses related to their main passion, like their engine shop, was a wise strategy. This approach kept them fully engaged in their field and constantly thinking of innovative ways to not just make do, but to truly stand out and succeed. An interesting tidbit about the family is that Lizzie and her sister Tricia carry on the family legacy even through their names. Lizzie was named after their mother, while Tricia's name is a creative take on their father's name. This naming tradition is a reflection of their strong family ties and how these connections permeate all aspects of their lives. Interestingly, both sisters found themselves in relationships with racing drivers, which you could say is quite ironic. Now let's delve into how Lizzie began her journey in the racing world. Initially, it was far from a fairy tale start. She encountered numerous setbacks and obstacles right from the beginning. However, Lizzie didn't give up. Instead, she learned from each mistake and every rocky start, gradually honing her racing abilities. The seasoned veterans of the racing community, known for their tough standards, began to take notice of her efforts. Lizzie was a prime example of someone who relied on sheer talent, relentless dedication, and a deep love for racing. Facing high expectations from others was a challenge for Lizzie, especially in the early days. Yet she quickly began to excel, winning over fans and setting some impressive records. By the time 2014 rolled around, everyone was excited to witness Lizzie's rise in the racing scene. She demonstrated that she was not merely another newcomer relying on her father's reputation. Rather, she was determined to establish herself as a significant contender in the racing industry. Competing in the demanding environment of the Professional Drag Racers Association, Lizzie made a significant impact that year. She didn't just participate in races, she dominated them. She earned the title of Rookie of the Year and even surpassed the 200-mile-per-hour mark during a pro-mod race in an 8-mile track in the Middle East. On that remarkable day, Lizzie did more than win a race. She shattered long-standing gender stereotypes, proving that drag racing is not an exclusive domain for men. Word about Lizzie's remarkable accomplishments spread rapidly. Experts in the racing field praised her technical skills and her understanding of not only how to race, but also the mechanics behind her vehicle. The media was also captivated by her. Her infectious smile, unwavering determination, and passion for racing garnered her a substantial fan base. Coming from a family deeply rooted in the racing business, Lizzie had a significant advantage in designing and fine-tuning her own vehicles, which played a crucial role in her success. She was intimately familiar with every component of her car, a knowledge that once even saved her life during a critical moment on the track. Lizzie's popularity skyrocketed, landing her appearances on television. Back in 2015, she starred in the film Adrenaline, which depicted the life of a drag racer who undergoes a significant transformation and turns to religion following a serious accident. That role marked merely the start of her ascent in the entertainment world. In 2018, she made her way onto the television series Street Outlaws. Her participation in this show represented another significant milestone in her career, as she continued to rise in prominence not only in the racing community, but also in mainstream media. Many devoted fans of drag racing might express reservations about reality TV shows. However, for Lizzie, it presented a fantastic chance to showcase the sport of drag racing to an entirely new audience. She embraced the opportunity to star in Street Outlaws, a series that focuses on the thrilling and dramatic world of illegal street racing. This platform became Lizzie's new arena. In this environment, racing was not merely about operating high-performance vehicles at their peak. It involved navigating the chaotic and unpredictable nature of street racing, which includes everything from uneven roads to sudden, unexpected challenges. As Lizzie excelled on the show, various other aspects of her life began to align favorably. Nevertheless, she faced a critical juncture that threatened to halt her racing career permanently. Much like her father, Pat, Lizzie demonstrated her ability to thrive under intense pressure. She competed against racing legends such as Big Daddy Dave and Daddy Dave, showcasing her true capabilities on the harsh, unforgiving streets where no quarter is given. The audience of the show, a diverse group comprising both hardcore racing aficionados and newcomers to the sport, were charmed by Lizzie's charismatic presence and her ability to hold her own against experienced competitors. Yet her journey was not devoid of challenges. It appeared as though life was preparing to deliver a significant obstacle in her path, potentially impacting her future in racing. On September 10th, 2023, Lizzie experienced a day filled with intense drama. It was during a particularly tense episode of Street Outlaws No Prep Kings, filmed at the Tucson Dragway, that she prepared to compete against Ryan Martin. Lizzie was driving her cherished 1969 Chevrolet Camaro, affectionately known as Bonnie. Before the race began, a clip aired on the Discovery Channel showing Lizzie feeling nervous. She wasn't worried about her safety, but rather, she was anxious about whether Bonnie had what it took to outpace Ryan on that day. It seemed as if the car might have sensed Lizzie's hesitation, because right after the burnout and just seconds into the race, calamity struck. Lizzie lost control of Bonnie, and in a dramatic, breath-holding scene, the car crashed into a barricade, abruptly turning a promising start into a startling stop. Immediately after the crash, medical staff and concerned spectators hurried to the accident site, eager to ensure Lizzie's well-being. Her father, Pat, was visibly distressed, terrified for his daughter's safety. Kai Kelly, to whom she'd gotten engaged the previous year, stood by, obviously distressed as well. Fortunately, thanks to the comprehensive safety features installed in the car, Lizzie emerged from the wreck with only minor injuries. This incident was a pivotal moment in Lizzie's life, underscoring the inherent dangers and exhilarating unpredictability of street racing. It served as a stark reminder of how quickly circumstances can shift in this high-speed sport. More than just a display of the perils involved, the event highlighted the strong sense of community and the support that exists within the street racing world. Such incidents, both positive and negative, have greatly contributed to shaping Lizzie into the courageous racer and popular television personality she's known as today. Through these experiences, she's demonstrated resilience and has gained a significant following of people who admire her tenacity and skill. Lizzie certainly faced a series of difficult challenges over the past year. It began innocuously enough when she made a quick trip to the hospital, only to be discharged the same day. While initially it seemed like nothing serious, this event was merely the precursor to a series of unfortunate developments. As the year drew to a close, around December, Lizzie was confronted with some devastating news. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, which had aggressively spread to her lymph nodes. Since receiving this diagnosis, Lizzie has chosen to be quite transparent about her ongoing treatment and the myriad challenges she faces during this tough time. Observations suggest that perhaps Lizzie overlooked some initial symptoms of her condition, which unfortunately allowed the cancer to progress unchecked. Lizzie has always been an exceptionally driven individual, constantly pursuing her aspirations with vigor. Now, she finds herself grappling with an enormous health crisis. However, despite the severity of her situation, Lizzie remains resolute. She continues to fight against her illness with remarkable courage and resilience, serving as a source of inspiration to many. Despite the grim circumstances, it's important to remember that Lizzie's life hasn't been solely defined by her illness or struggles. Prior to this turbulent period, she experienced many joyful moments, particularly with her boyfriend Kai Kelly. Interestingly, Lizzie's life encompassed more than just her competitive endeavors. Even as she excelled in her sport of drag racing, she also developed a deep romantic relationship with Kai, who is himself a fellow drag racer. Their connection was rooted in a mutual understanding and shared experiences, both celebrating their triumphs and supporting each other through challenging times. Their romance began quite charmingly, in the garage owned by Lizzie's father, who played a role in introducing them. The chemistry between Lizzie and Kai was evident from the beginning. They were not only rivals on the racing tracks, but they were also partners in real life, collaborating and rejoicing in each other's successes. In 2017, they made their relationship public, much to the excitement of the drag racing community. As they continued to excel in their sport, breaking records and garnering admiration, their relationship became a beloved story within the community, symbolizing their shared journey through both their professional and personal lives. In 2021, Kai and Lizzie stepped up their relationship in an incredibly dramatic fashion. Kai decided to propose to Lizzie right after she experienced a terrifying accident during a car race at the Darlington Dragway in South Carolina. It was her third time competing there, and even though she crashed, it turned out to be a very significant day for both of them. Here's the lowdown. Lizzie had a really rough time during the race. It was her third race driving Bonnie, the same car that almost caused her severe harm the following year. It really makes you think if there was something wrong with that car, doesn't it? On this occasion, she ended up crashing into the guardrail. The crash was severe. Both Lizzie and her beloved racing car were badly damaged, and she had to go to the hospital just to ensure everything was all right with her. But believe it or not, her day was about to get a whole lot better. That same day, after the accident, Lizzie returned to Darlington to support her boyfriend, Kai Kelly, who was also participating in the races. She had no idea that Kai had planned a big surprise for her. At the end of the evening, he asked her to marry him. Lizzie was absolutely thrilled. She was excited, emotional, and completely overjoyed. She immediately said yes, eager to marry her best friend. Everyone around them was supportive, wishing them a long and joyful future together. But as we all know, life has its highs and lows. By the year 2023, their relationship had hit some rough patches. Lizzie was fighting cancer, and Kai was absent for several of her chemotherapy sessions, which really disappointed her. She needed his support more than ever, and he wasn't as present as she had hoped. This made people wonder if Lizzie was trying to cope with too much all at once. At the same time, Lizzie was very open about her challenges. She even talked about having to shave her head due to the chemotherapy. Kai, on the other hand, felt neglected in their relationship, although it's not entirely clear why he felt that way. Their fans have suggested that it would be best for Lizzie and Kai to resolve their issues privately. Despite the difficulties, they still hope to overcome these challenges. Indeed, it's been a very eventful journey for Lizzie. Lizzie is somewhat like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Despite her battle with cancer, she remains resilient and determined not to be held back. There's even some optimistic news. Her doctors believe that the tumor might be shrinking because the treatments appear to be effective. Thanks to this positive development, she was able to return and appear in the most recent episodes of Street Outlaws that were filmed later in the year. There isn't any concrete news yet about Lizzie and Kai's relationship, but rest assured, we'll share those details as soon as we have more information. Shifting focus from the difficult periods that have overshadowed Lizzie's life in recent years, she has truly been an inspiration, especially to women who might think that they don't belong in their field. With clear objectives and strong support, Lizzie has truly made a mark for herself. And you can trust that she isn't one to avoid challenges. She's continuously coming up with innovative ideas and pushing the boundaries with her team at Musi Racing Engines. Her enthusiasm for innovation could potentially lead to significant advancements in drag racing. However, Lizzie's real legacy lies not just in her victories or records, but in the hope she instills, the obstacles she overcomes, and the powerful messages she sends to everyone watching. So what do you think? With all that's happening, do you think we might see less of Lizzie on the show? Let's discuss this in the comments, and keep an eye out for more exciting updates.